getting started in pest control. You worked at a few different pest control places. You want to give us the names?
Yeah, so let's see. I worked initially at Terminix. Then I worked for Orchid twice. And then I finished off my career in pest control at Greenix.
What year did you think you started?
So let's see. About the very beginning of 2016, like Jan 1. And then I finished up all the way up. It was end of COVID, so 2021-ish, 22, officially finished up with pest control just in general.
All right, so what was the first place you worked at?
So Terminix. So
what made you want to apply there to begin with? Let's start there.
So 2015, right? Every place that was hiring is right around $13 to $15, right? Because 20 years old. The only work experience I have is as a tech for cars, and stuff. So nobody's gonna pay you top dollar for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But pest control starting wage was $17 an hour. So I was like, all right, $4 extra. It's pretty decent. I'm getting close to 20, and whatever. So I applied there. And got the interview next day. I was like, awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Went in, and the sales manager seemed like the coolest dude in the world, right? Because he's like, hey, great place to work. We'll train you up. If you happen to miss a day or two, no big deal. We'll pay you anyway. Or if you need to leave early, we'll just pay you the rest of the day. It was like, all right, cool. I can just take days off, whatever, get paid for them.
Right.
Obviously work hard, but if I need the day off, I'll just take the day. Just found out Kim was pregnant, so we were thinking about that. So I was like, all right, need a big boy job, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So got the job, right? Went through the whole motions. Technically, I started before I was 21, which it was a no-no on their insurance, but
oh, really?
I was turned 21 like a month later, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So in general, right, pest control is just, you ride around all day. You do about 8 to 12 stops, maybe 15, and you spray a little bit, you talk to people, and that's it. How this company worked was a little different. They didn't train me in any way, shape, or form. It was just more, you take this little spray bottle, here, call it good. Okay. It didn't make any sense to me. But with this company, I also had to fly out to St. Louis for like this convention, for like training. It wasn't necessarily how to do the job. It was just how to recognize certain insects, and so on, right? So we got this full onboard training thing of just insects. Not to how to take care of them, just how to recognize them.
Okay.
And that's it. And
so how long was it?
It was a week in St. Louis. Long days, and then the very first day we sat there, and they're like, hey, we've had issues. Don't call prostitutes. Because apparently prostitution is super big in St. Louis. So
was everyone staying in a hotel?
Yeah.
And they just like sent out an email, or like you guys were all in like a meeting room?
Yeah, no, it was basically we go to this like convention hall, and like the very first thing he comes up and says, all right, I'm going to get this out of the way. Nobody in here call a prostitute. We've had issues in the past. When the pimp comes, it's always bad. Nobody call a prostitute. If you need something that bad, there's a strip club a couple miles down. It's like, okay. But yeah, no, did that whole like training spiel thing and stuff like that. I got away for a week, which was kind of nice. Stayed at a pretty nice hotel. I had a buffet every morning and stuff like that, so that was kind of cool.
There was another job you went to St. Louis for, right?
No.
Briefly?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No.
Or maybe you were going to at one point and then it got canceled or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But just went to St. Louis for that week, and that was that.
Yeah. So do you remember the interview at all with Termix?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just more of that cut and dry. Here's the job type of thing. Do you want to go on a ride along? I was like, no. So $17 an hour sounds good.
So like, any hard questions?
No. No. It's more. Does he have a pulse? Do you know how to drive? That type of stuff.
Did they ever let people that didn't have real driver's license?
No, not as far as.
So that is like one requirement.
One requirement.
So for everyone watching, gotta have a valid driver's license.
The one thing with pest control that you have to do is you do have to study up on like the laws and regulations, because you need a pesticide applicator license, and depending on the job, you need multiple. At one point, I had almost all of them. But that one can be kind of where it's harder, because like you do have to study for one of the tests, and the like mosquito license, for example, is like one of the hardest tests I've ever taken in my entire life. Not even a joke. And even then, I still barely passed it. But then, like, the other ones are, okay, do you spray kids in the face with pesticide? No? All right, here's the license. So, yeah, it's pretty easy. As long as you're not, you actually read the book somewhat, you use some common sense, you'll pass.
Okay. So I'm sure that's helpful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, we talked about application, the interview with them. Went to St. Louis for a week, and then did you do any shadowing with them, or was it here's the keys,
4 days,
here's your equipment? Oh,
4 days. But some of them were really quick days, and then when I was starting, it was wintertime. And we live in Minnesota. There's no bugs in the winter, so it's just more you're just inspecting, making sure that there's no like giant holes for mice or whatever. But with Terminex, they also service like commercial buildings, and in other groups of people that live in Minnesota have issues with certain bugs like cockroaches and mice and stuff like that. So we'd have to help with that, or help tell them what they need to do to eliminate that. So, which
is good.
Yeah. And then Minneapolis is just a hellhole for rats and mice. Rats especially. They're disgusting. I won't touch them. Even during pest control stuff, I'm like, you got dead rat back there. Needs to be removed. So, dead rats and centipedes, I was always, nope, not gonna happen.
What was the biggest rodent you ever killed?
Big ass rat. Well, okay.
Give us like how big are we talking?
The rat that I found is like this. The thing was fucking huge. But then with Orkin, I did do some like the wildlife stuff. So like raccoons and then like squirrels and stuff, and they get pretty fucking big and stuff like that too. So those are considered rodents.
Let's move on here then to Orkin.
Yep.
When did you apply there? What was the thinking?
So, and we'll get to it. I wasn't at Terminex for very long. I was with Terminex for 2 months, and then I jumped ship so quick. And we'll get to that stuff in other videos.
Yeah.
And then I went to Orkin because I was like, all right, like, there's no way pest control is this bad. So I just jumped ship to a new company. And so I went to Orkin and talked with them. And one of the guys, he seemed like the biggest asshole in the entire world. And he's actually like one of those nice guys, but he comes off like a prick initially until you like warm up to him a little bit. And then one guy is just ridiculously nice. And then you have your general manager, who is actually a prick. But went through the interview, and it's just more, are you going to be stupid and crash the car? No. Okay. Do you at least know the basics? I was like, I know how to do this stuff. Okay. You already have your license? Yep. All right, you're hired. You know, it was pretty simple. Because then they didn't have to pay for me to be licensed. I already knew the basics. I just had to go through the Orkin training, and then that was it.
How long was that? The Orkin training?
A week.
And that was in Minnesota?
That was here in Minnesota. It was just like a little class thing that was like through like Skype or whatever, and then and then I rode with a guy for 2 weeks. Well, a little more than 2 weeks because I actually changed jobs mid training because they were gonna have me on the route, and then I did wildlife stuff, so I had extra training.
So did any of these pest control companies ever have a non-compete?
No.
Okay.
No non-compete or anything like that. And then like I said, I changed jobs, so I was going to do a regular route, so I did training on that technically for 2 weeks, and then I went to do wildlife stuff, and then that was like non-stop training. I almost always had somebody with me.
And was Orkin better than
significantly?
Terminex?
Okay. Significantly.
And like, cause they paid better, or
no, pay was about the same. It was just more of a actual business. You actually had a boss. You actually had people to do jobs. You actually had a schedule, right? At Terminex, I was given a list of 300 people, and it's like, all right, finish this by the end of the month. They like with Terminex, I had to make my own phone calls, had to schedule my entire month all by myself, and all of this I had to do during unpaid time, which I did during pay time, and stuff like that. So with Orkin, it was all scheduled for me. It's just like, this is what you have for the day. Just make sure you print off your report at the end of the day, sign it, call it good. And a nicer vehicle too.
So, at Orkin, was there any tough tests like at Terminex, or because you said you had like the license already, there wasn't really?
I already had the license, so it was all good. It was just more you had this annoying thing in your vehicle. So if you went over 65 miles an hour, it would yell at you, and as long as you were a decent driver, you were fine. But no,
you never went over 65, did you?
Couldn't. That thing would scream at you, and you didn't want to hear it. So
good.
So yeah, no. Otherwise, no tough tests. I already had all the tests out of the way. So.
And then who was the last Green?
It was Greenix. Yep. So
when did you start there? What year are we talking?
So it was after I did. I was with Walzer, right? I did a couple odd jobs and stuff like that, and then with Greenix, it was supposed to be more like on the side, but then kind of still doing it here and there.
So we're talking like 2020.
Yep, 2020, and then to almost 2022-ish. Yeah, because then especially with COVID, there wasn't a ton of cars to sell, and then so I was mostly doing it on the side, and then during the week and stuff like that periodically. Awful company.
Company. So Greenix, like, you were still considered an employee?
Yep.
Or tenant? Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, how did the interview
Dude, that was literally, do you have a pulse? I didn't even actually have an actual interview. It was just more, hey, this is like a smaller shop. We'll have your schedule and stuff like that. We'll get you all scheduled out. You have your license. Okay, cool. And the pay is like this, but then we also have commission and all this other stuff. And there was actually some decent commission structures that you could hit for it. And it's just like, so when can you start? And I was like, this day. And I was like, all right, I'll see you then. That was literally it. Wow. He didn't ask me any questions. It's just like, hey, here's the job. When can you start?
So what is this pest control license actually called?
Pesticide applicator license.
Pesticide applicator license.
Yeah. So
and like, how long are these good for? Once you pass the test, forever for X number of years? Or?
1 year, unless you go to a convention in March, or you take like little Like during COVID, it was like had it structured out where you could watch like 6 videos and you take a small little yes/no test at the end, and that was that. So every year you just go to this little convention at the in Minneapolis, and then you were done.
And you would do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we could save that. Did it suck?
It's 2 days of hell. 2 days of hell.
Well, let's just hear about it now.
So yeah, basically you just go to this big ass convention center, and so with pest control companies, there's 100 of them just here in Minnesota, right? So everybody goes to this convention hall, and then you have like these legit scientists, like with PhDs and stuff on bugs, that are going up and be like, so for the last 3 years we've been watching mosquito populations, and then this is what they're doing. Nobody's listening. Everybody is sitting down with your phone going like this while somebody's talking for 8 hours. Then we get this stupid lunch, and it's disgusting food. But it's free, it's catered, whatever. But it's just like I'm sitting there, and I'm not paying attention. Nobody's paying attention. We're all having conversations and stuff while these PhD candidates are giving these full-on things. And then they'll ask us questions, and it's just like stuff that we don't care about. Stuff we don't even need to know at that point, too. It's just ridiculous. It's just like, do you know the difference between the cockroaches here in Minnesota versus the one in South America? No.
Right, who cares?
I don't care. That has nothing to do with my job.
Right.
So
you're not doing business down there. Exactly. I don't think anyone in Minnesota is.
Right.
So was this like 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night kind of thing?
For 2 days.
2 days. Oof.
Yep. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
How many times did you end up going to that?
I went every year until I just said fuck it with my license.
So like 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was, it was paid 2 days and whatnot that you didn't actually have to work, So that was kind of one nice thing. It's just you go and sit for a couple hours, and then you just put in an AirPod or whatever, and you just chill out.
Yeah. I guess, that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, it's relaxed.
Yep.
So, from all the places combined, early days for all of them.
Yep.
Do you have any stories, any memories that stick out? Any moments you were like, I don't know if this is for me?
When I was with Green Eggs, they had to it was prove that you knew what you were doing. And I had just got done basically having a job where I just chill at a dealership, right?
Yeah.
I have the bathroom down the hall, so I don't have to fight for a gas station or whatever. I had one spot to go to, and that was it, right? And I was going back to, kind of run a route in between and whatnot. And granted, it was like a side gig, but still. Then we went to somebody's house, right? Knocked on the door, they didn't answer. We went around the back, and we were just kind of doing our thing, right? Taking down spider webs, all that stuff. 2 massive dogs just all of a sudden ran out of the house. I've never been bit by a dog. I've never even fully been chased by a dog until this day. And it was like my first or second day fully back into like a pest control situation. I'm like, fuck. And this dog is just like big, barking, and it's just like a couple feet, and it's just, you're walking backwards, and it's just like, this dog is gonna fucking bite me. And the people were home the whole time. They just didn't care. And eventually, got out from behind their backyard and stuff, got to the truck, and they came out, looked out the window, and they waved. I didn't go back. I wasn't going. I was like, you know what? They have dogs outside not doing it. And I sent it back to the to the boss and stuff like that. And I was like, do I really want to keep fucking doing this? And it was the beginning of the end at that point.
But that was pretty early on?
That was pretty early. That was, literally like the second day of Greenix. So I had been doing it for a while at that point, and I was just kind of... That was the beginning of the end, where it's just like, all right, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. As far as like Terminix and stuff, I was like, I'd never really been outside Minnesota, so it was kind of cool to go to St. Louis, so that was kind of cool. But it was like those initial days when I had no idea what the hell to do. They kind of just gave me a water bottle, and it was filled with chemical, like, spray it. And I was just like, okay. It didn't click yet, right? And so that part was like, do I really want to do this? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I had like 300 people I have to call and get this scheduled out, and they just told me to spray this bottle in places. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oregon was pretty smooth for the most part. That was pretty easy, actually.
Was there any jobs you went there, didn't do anything, but you said you did?
Yes, but only because some customers are like so against chemical and stuff like that, but they have a pest control service for whatever reason. And after talking with these people for 2 hours about why they hate chemicals, I was just like, all right, I'll just look, and if there's nothing, I won't spray anything. And then kind of getting across like pesticide isn't going to hurt mammals, so like mice and stuff like that. Some people don't want you to spray anyway, because obviously if it's going to hurt mice, then it would hurt us, and that's not what pesticide does. Mm-hmm. So once you do that, then it's like, oh well, I don't want any chemicals. Like, all right, then I'll just go around your house twice so that I have my 15 minutes that I've been at this job so I can go. You know.
So like they would time you how long you were there?
Yeah,
to know that
a lot of customers will be like working during the day, and so you're going there when they're at work, and they want to know that you've actually been there for a certain period of time. So they'll actually look, and if it says, "Hey, I clocked in at 2:00 and then I left at 2:02," why the hell am I paying $100? You know, mm-hmm. So I would at least make it about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't need 15 minutes. I needed 5 minutes most of the time, but
yeah. So, any other moments that stand out?
Not at the beginning days.
Okay. But I'm sure there's a lot of other good customers.
Yeah.
I guess I got a little story for you to react to that I've told you about in the past. I knew someone that got into the pest control game with Adams and through another buddy. Yeah, but this individual, younger than us, 4 or 5 years younger than us. Well, and this was even like a couple of years ago. So he was around. He was actually around when you started.
Yep.
He got a call for lice, or no, not lice, bed bugs.
Yep.
And I got this story that they like chewed up his legs. Any reaction to that? Any bed bug stories? He said he had a bunch of red spots from bites.
I have lots of bed bug stories that we can get to. And that might be more like customer stuff, but it's like people.
What was this individual doing wrong on his first day to be attacked by bed bugs?
Oh, he wasn't wearing pants. I remember that because he like wore shorts or whatever. It's like you're spraying chemical for wear some pants.
Yeah.
But then also too, like I know some guys, if they're gonna go to a bed bug job, I don't know how well this worked. They would spray the chemical like on their pants so that bed bugs wouldn't jump on there. It would come off. But even then, you go outside and they usually jump off you anyway too. At least it's supposed to. If they bite you, sometimes people don't even know that they have them. Until it's like too late and you've already had them for months. So bed bugs are disgusting. They're almost as disgusting as ticks. Even whenever I go to like a hotel, I always check my hotel bed now and stuff like that. I'll pull it away from the wall. I'll check underneath the sheets and stuff like that, and like check the mattress. just to make sure. Because that's like the number one place that you'll get bed bugs is going to a hotel and then going home.
Oh, that's a secret. Or do you have any stories of hearing about new people doing stupid stuff like that? Like, again, not wearing pants on a bed bug job and...
I mean, really the stupidest thing is like... Because I worked at places more or less where you had to be somewhat professional. But it's just more like crash their car or they're smoking a blunt outside of their car right next to the logo of the truck, and then somebody saw and took a picture and sent it in. Like stupid things like that.
And they got fired for that?
Yeah, 100%. Because you're driving a company vehicle and now you're high. And caught.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, there's lots of stupid little things.
Is there any other places you applied at and then never started working for in pest control places?
Yeah, a few. And it's mostly like those smaller places. For me, if you're getting into pest control, go to like the bigger-ish companies because you're going to be more stable, actually have decent benefits, have an actual customer base and stuff like that, rather than we're just starting out, we're going to rip off every single customer possible just so we can get a customer base and build some ground, because there are 1,000 pest control places, even just here in Minnesota. So
all right, so you already know what I'm about to ask, but I'll say it all out. Let's say I am a 24-year-old in rural Indiana. I want to get into pest control. What advice would you give them?
Don't be stupid.
What do they need?
A pulse? You need a pulse. You need to be actually able to show up to work on time. You need to... that's kind of it. But attention to detail.
Driver's license.
That's a big one. Be able to pass a test. There's a lot of people that can't. So, yeah, that's really it.
Like, and you mean like the pesticide test?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's in every state anyway. So that's federal stuff. That's it.
If someone asks you straight up if they should do it, what would you recommend pest control work?
How young are they, or how old are they?
Let's say 30.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but there's probably better jobs that you could probably waste your time at.
Okay.
At 30 years old. I think it's more like a younger person thing because you're outside all day, right? You're running around, and sometimes it's ridiculously hot. You have to wear long sleeves and pants, and it gets hot here during the summer.
Yeah.
And then you're lugging around a 100-pound backpack too, filled with gallons of water and chemical. So it's a younger person thing that you build up towards. If you're 30, I mean, we're almost 30, so we're not that old, but like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay, so you
have to clean up dead mice. I don't want to do that anymore.
So yeah, you think it's better if you're 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
21.
21.
Move up that way.
Yep. Yeah, that's how old you got to be.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, for you, right? I mean, granted, you've always done the different things in this. At almost 30, do you want to walk around with a 5-gallon thing on your back in the hot sun with sleeves and pants? Exactly. We're too old for that shit now.
That being said, I know people that still do,
yeah.
And when I see them, they recruit me, and it's like, no. But
commission's decent, though, at some other places. But anything else?
Thinking, no, that's probably about it. That is getting started in pest control.